How's everybody doing today? We're here for a special edition of Studio Talks, and it's special because, as you can see, we're not in the studio. We're actually in a really great place. We're in Kerrville, Texas, at Southern Sky Music Cafe, and it's a great restaurant and music venue. And we're here with my great friend Ty Phelps, who's had quite a history of having great restaurants and music venues. So Ty Phelps today on Studio Talks.
Hey, thank you for having me on here.
Yeah.
And Laura, my gal,
Yes.
my wife, is also the owner, so
Yes.
she can't be here today. She's doing the hard work of
Crunching the
bill
numbers
paying and all that kind of stuff. Yes, right now.
Right, right. Yeah, Laura's what a great asset she is to what you're doing out here.
No,
Right?
yeah, she's.
To say the least.
I think I'm an asset to her. She does all the
Yeah, there
work
you go.
stuff.
There you go. Yeah, right. Perhaps so.
Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I always like to kind of, when I do these interviews, kind of get a little bit of history, with who I'm talking to. I know a lot of this, but the folks presumably that are watching do not. So kind of how did you get started? We won't go all the way back, to, when you were in diapers, but how did you get started kind of being interested in getting into the restaurant business, and also how did that sort of morph into having a focus on music? Because that's really been a characteristic of the restaurants that you've opened. Is they've not just been restaurants, they really have been true music venues. You've brought ticketed acts in and all that kind of stuff. How did that evolution work out for you?
Well, I've always loved music. I started in the restaurant business at 9 years old, and so washing dishes.
Yeah.
And so then I have never done anything else except be in the restaurant. Besides go to college and graduate, but even through that time period, always in the restaurant business, and always loved music.
Yeah.
I played music, and just it's a big part of my life and my interests. And so when it started out getting restaurants going, and then I want to get music involved.
Yeah. Right.
Your palate for music and foods is the same.
Yeah.
And I think it's a necessity in
Yeah.
life. And so we wanted to make over the years restaurants that not were just a bar
Yeah.
with some good music in the corner and maybe some nachos, and not just a restaurant that's good food, but has just a local yokel guy,
Yeah.
that maybe Cousin Larry or something
Sure.
playing. So we wanted to focus on quality food and quality music.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we've accomplished over the years, and here at Southern Sky Music Cafe.
Yeah, for sure. Because that, to me, that's one of the distinctions being in the business that I'm in. I work with established artists, but also a lot of young artists. And one of the big questions they have is, how do I get over the hump of going and playing places that's they're not there to play their show. They're there to do provide 4 hours of
Background
jukebox music,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's and there is a service, that there's a need for that out there, but that's not really what you guys do. You guys bring in artists to do their thing. And so at what point did you sort of decide to go down the route of just having someone just sort of be a jukebox at your place, but actually bring people in that are doing original music and doing their stuff? Like, at what point did you go, we want to do this instead?
Yeah, and it is pretty much always been that way. We really enjoy and appreciate and are blessed by great songwriting.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to have a place. You know what? Not all the time you're going to make money either.
Yeah.
When you bring in new artists, that's, like you said, younger artists,
Yeah.
that may not have a following yet,
Right.
but you still want to provide that person a venue, a spotlight on what they do, and hopefully help them along the way.
Right.
We really love helping younger artists, and then we love, of course, the older artists. Like Rusty Weir for years played
Sure.
at our places, and Gary Pena and all those guys.
Sure.
But we really enjoy the youngsters coming up and really dedicating their life and showing off their talent, and it's sort of like scheduling your own private concert.
Yeah.
And so not all the time you make all the money in the world by doing that, but
you did get to see this great show, that you might not have otherwise have been able to see.
And everybody has their own beliefs, but we feel that you have a calling in life, and our calling, we believe, is to really help these youngsters get going and promote music, promote the art of music, and then give them a great meal to go along with it.
Well, gosh, and when you think back, because this is obviously not your first restaurant venue, music venue, you've done quite a lot of, have started some, what I would argue is some really important music venues throughout Texas, several over the years. And you've had opportunities to see people who at the time might not have been very well known, but now have become quite well known, and you've brought those people in. Maybe who are some of those people that you've brought up on stage, maybe at the time a lot of people didn't know who they were, but now a lot of people know who they are.
Well, we could point out the Miranda Lamberts of the world.
Sure.
She started with us when she was really young.
Yeah.
Maren Morris was playing our place at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And pretty often. And then way back when, I know Cross Canadian Ragweed came through. And,
Yeah.
And those guys, and Wade Bowen actually ran into my dad at Cavender's Western Wear and said, "Hey, here's my CD." And it was back when he was West 84.
Yeah,
Wade Bowen,
right.
West 84, and so there's just a lot of those guys, and a lot of clubs can say that. But what we really enjoy about it is that we stay dedicated to that, and it's really, it can be enticing to go the cheap route, and the, like you said, jukebox route.
Sure.
But we really try hard to not do that, and and so that's over the years. There's been so many proud moments of seeing guys getting Grammys on TV, guys and gals, and all that. But it's also really cool to see these troubadours here and are just touring Texas and making a great living at it.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing that people, a lot of times, if they're not involved in the business, they don't understand that, there's a whole scene here, and there's a whole network of people like you that provide these venues where artists can come in and actually do a show and do their music. And because of that, you have people that maybe aren't famous but are well known on the scene, and like you say, make a good living doing music. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Texas, especially Texas, Oklahoma, I guess you could say too, but it really is its own country in the music business.
Yeah,
it's its own
ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, for
and
sure.
So it is cool to see that, and we love all these artists, and they've all been very kind to us as well. And you hear all these stories over the years of jerky musicians or whatever. But we've had people like Radney Foster, who out on his own
true
accord,
legend.
On his own accord, just calling up saying, "Hey, how's new construction going in your new place?
Right.
Well, we're not quite finished yet. Oh, you know what? Just cut the pay in half, and we'll do."
Yeah,
so it's
right.
really cool. The quality people.
It's a real community
in Texas music. It's a really it is a community. It's awesome.
Well, and there's a real benefit to even the artists, that are more established now, like really fostering that community of people that are bringing in these venues, that are bringing in these original artists like that. If that went away in Texas, that would be a terrible tragedy.
Yeah, there's and I know that up at the Texas Music Office, he'll tell you that it's something like it's in the almost $1 billion industry in Texas. It's like one of the biggest industries.
Right.
And when you talk about venues and artists and album sales all together, it's like, it's up there with the big boys with oil and everything else. So
right.
It's not just a dude on the corner. It's a big industry.
Yeah,
multi-million dollar industry. And then when COVID happens, it hits everybody else hard, but really hits the artist hard. So it was great to see that finish for sure.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. It was tough because I think obviously everybody got hit during the COVID thing, but as a producer, things got weird for a minute. But after a while, people are like, well, this is what we do for a living, and we still have to make records, and people found creative ways to perform and stuff. And so it's nice to be on the other side of that, to be sure. Yeah,
it made us appreciate the artists a lot more, and I think it made the artists appreciate also guests and customers and listeners. And man, it's a cool vibe that we have together as venues and as artists.
Yeah.
And I look forward to doing a lot more in the future.
Absolutely. Well, it really is, and just you saying those kinds of things. That's something that's important for people to realize, or maybe they do realize it instinctively. But it really is a passion project. You don't get into this because you're like, I want to be a millionaire. Being a millionaire would be great.
Yeah.
But you do it because you love it. The same really, and that's maybe why it works so good, is because that's the same reason why these artists are doing what they're doing, because they love it. It's a passion project.
Yeah, and Laura, my gal, will even say, wow, this is, she's
the business mind.
She's a real estate broker.
Yeah.
And I told her, well, now that you're in this business with me, you're gonna be broker than you ever been.
Yeah, right. You just thought you were a broker before. You're gonna be really broker now.
Yeah, and so it's definitely a passion project. And but we love it.
Well, I want to ask you a little bit about, speaking of singers and songwriters and all that stuff. We just wrapped up. That's the occasion for, for being here. Why I'm sitting here now. But we just wrapped up this great songwriter contest that you've had for has it been 6 years now running?
Well, it's been 20-something years, actually.
Oh, because you did it, there was another iteration of it.
Yeah, we called it the Rusty Weir Songwriter Contest.
Oh,
before,
okay.
But yes, as Texana Troubadour, it's probably 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, right. And that's about when I started to get involved,
Yeah.
insofar as I have been involved. I've helped judge and things like that, which has been great.
And produced albums.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Kind of a big deal.
That's right. That's part of the prize is I'll work with whoever wins. But yeah, tell me a little bit about this, Texana Troubadour songwriting competition, about kind of what your vision is for that, and kind of your thoughts now that we've wrapped up one more year and we have a new winner this year, a new champion.
Yeah, Chad Boyd. That was
Chad
awesome.
Boyd.
We'll be heading up to East Texas pretty soon, probably.
Yeah.
Well, it is just like when it started. We appreciate the music so much and the musicians so much, and we really we not only focus on the youngsters, but there's also guys that have been doing this for a little bit, and haven't ever had the opportunity to show off their songwriting ability.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to get somebody on stage in front of people, and all of a sudden people recognize, oh my gosh, this is a great songwriter.
Right.
We've had some great songwriters. This, like it was a difficult decision, and for the winner this year, and there was 10 winners. But it's just like getting those people on stage, and sometimes they've been songwriting in their garage. Like last year, we had a guy get up there and say, I've never played in front of anybody except for my mom and dad.
Yeah, right.
And then you hear him play, and you go, oh my gosh, you're great.
Yeah,
and
right.
So,
and there really is a cool mix of contestants. You do have people like that are just like closet songwriters, and then you have people that actually get out there and play a lot of gigs and do it, but they just haven't really been recognized. And this is a way to have the light shown on them a little bit.
Yeah,
so you get this whole sort of spectrum.
Yeah, and a lot of people do songwriter contests or songwriting, where you mail in your songwriter.
Right.
But we want to do a true troubadour thing, where we're saying, look, these are the guys that write good songs, perform well, great stage presence, and can see
the whole package.
Can see a route where they're a troubadour around Texas.
Yeah, right. And even the ones maybe that are a little earlier in their career and they maybe don't quite, they haven't quite hit that designation yet, but they're aspiring to it. This is a good thing for them to do because they, sort of, it shows a path for them.
Absolutely.
They get some good feedback. They get to network, and some of those guys actually make it pretty far into the competition because they're just so good.
Yeah, and they do network. And
guys and gals, I should say.
Yeah, lots of good gals this year.
Yes, that's right.
And a lot of them exchange information, work on each other's projects together, and songwrite together, or just hang out together. But it is a great network. It's like the Chamber of Commerce for Texas music.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, listen, I think this has been really great for people to sort of, maybe if they haven't heard of Southern Sky Music Cafe, this is a way for them to go, hey, I need to get down to Kerrville and check out what's going on. But I thought that, usually the way we do this is it's an artist that we're interviewing in the studio, and then when I get out of the way, they play a live song. Well, nobody wants to hear us do a duet, so we're not going to do that. But I thought maybe instead of the live performance, what we would do is have you give us a tour of your facility here.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think playing the spoons I could do because I have plenty of spoons.
Well, maybe we'll do
Lots
that.
of spoons.
All right, so here comes the tour.
Okay, this is the bar. Awesome bar. All handcrafted wood, repurposed wood. They did a great job when they built it, and all the beer cans, and of course all our albums. You'll see all our albums on all the walls. And then every bar stool in this bar comes out of a fishing boat or motorboat, and every bottom to the bar stool is something different. There's a cable box. There's Ace Hardware buckets. There's bamboo, and Chad Malden thinks he's really, really cool, but this is a little cooler. And that's my joke. This is one of our dining rooms, and it's got you see all the albums, all the old albums on the walls, the 45s, and then you see the Willie Nelson and Rusty Weir, and so it's all musical, but it's still the same. The woodwork is so awesome. Mr. Gene, who built this place by hand, repurposed wood from everywhere that he did construction projects and stuff like that. So it is handmade. Everything is handmade, so it's beautiful. There's nothing else like it in the world. Now, when Chad and I were talking a while ago, we were on the inside stage when the weather's chilly, like it is now. But most of the time, our music happens on this outside stage here. As you can see, I don't know if I get out of your way. And it's awesome. This is awesome. Of course, it's the hill country. The Guadalupe River is down there, but you see this big old patio. We can fit a couple hundred people out here. We've got an outside bar. It's the leaves are falling right now, so pardon the mess, but yeah, this is we're really proud of this, and we were blessed to be able to land a spot like this on the Guadalupe River in the hill country. So now we're down. So we had the stage inside, doing the stage on the deck over there. Now we're down where we do the big events like the chili cook-offs, the Gary P. Nunn Music Festival, all down here on the Guadalupe River. We got this basically about 3 or 4 acre field here right on the Guadalupe River. You can see it kind of splits. The river comes down and feeds this little cool rapids waterfall into the regular Guadalupe River. And if you pan around here, you'll see we got deep water, we got shallow water, and so people can swim, tube, whatever, canoe. And then over here is where we will have the big events. Now you're looking at where the back of the stage would be. We have a big fold-out stage, and it faces that direction, and we can fit a couple thousand people in this little area. And with the Gary P. Nunn Music Festival, we actually did RV rental, so you could bring your RV as a VIP and bring your RV right up beside the stage and watch from your front porch of your RV. So it's a cool blessing for us to have a place where we can do events for 20, 200, and 2,000. And so we love it. So you need to come down and enjoy some chili at our chili cook-off March 2nd, Texas Independence Day.